Alright guys, so here I am attempting University of Waterloo's computing competition. I'm doing the junior problems right now, and let's see how I do. Alright, so problem J1, the very first one, tournament selection. So each player is placed in a tournament and they're playing 6 games. So there are no ties, thankfully, so we don't have to worry with that complexity. And now the tournament director places the players in groups based on the results of the game as follows. So if a player wins 5 or 6 games, they're placed in group 1. So it's based on if statements. All right, so it's conditional logic over here. Now it's saying write a program to determine which group a player is placed in. So the input consists of 6 lines, each with one of 2 possible letters, W to indicate a win or L to indicate a loss. Okay, so what I'm thinking off the bat is I could use a for loop, so we can get these sample inputs, right? And then for the output, it would just be based on me counting these up. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. So here, let me actually write this out. So I'm gonna start off with first allowing a user to even input, right? So I'm just gonna open up a new terminal so we can actually see this, right? Okay, so I'll create an input. So for I in input, sorry, I should say for I in a range of 6, right? Because we want this to run 6 times. We're gonna have an input for for every time, right? So I'll say like an input, so I'll give it a name first of all. I'll just say win underscore or underscore loss, and that will be an input, right? And all I'm going to say is if win underscore or underscore loss equals to W, right? Which is, you know, what they're giving me here, right? What we will do is we will actually create a new counter of some sorts, right? And so since W indicates a win, right, we can just add it to our counter of wins, which will start at 0. And so over here, all I'm going to say is wins plus equals 1, right? That just increments it by 1. Otherwise, we don't want to do anything, right? And at the end, we can probably just print out the wins, right? Now, the output will be either 1, 2, or 3 to indicate which group the player should be placed in, or -1 to indicate the player has been eliminated. Okay, so actually we're not going to print it, but instead what we're going to do, my bad, is we're going to run these if statements now. So we have our wins, so all we need to do is we have to run these if statements. So we're going to say if wins equals 5, or wins equals 6. Okay, we're gonna return, and I'm gonna put this in a function, but we're gonna return 1. Okay, this is group 1, right? And right now it's gonna give me an error because it's not in a function, but I'll change that. Now I'll do an elif of wins equals 3, or wins equals 4, right? 3 or 4, and in this case they're placed in group 2. Otherwise, they're placed in, so if they win 1 time, or if they win 2 times, they're placed in group 3. Or otherwise, if none of these criteria are met, that means they are eliminated. So we have to return negative 1. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into a function. I'm going to call it solution, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have to indent all of this. Okay, and gotta just put this. I have to put parentheses because it's a function, but there you go. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to call it here, right, so that it actually is executable. So now all I need to do is I'm going to run Python 3 tournament selection.py. Okay, and then now I can go ahead and input. So I'll do W, right? W. Oops, I messed up. Okay, so W, then there's a loss, then there's a W, then there is a W, then there is a loss, then there is a W. Okay, and it's not gonna give me anything because I did a return, so I have to actually just print this out. I'm just printing it out right now for like debugging purposes, right? But let's do this again. So W, L, W, W, L, W. And the reason why that happened was because we didn't capitalize it. W, L, W, W, L, W. Okay, there we go. There we go. We got our output of 2. Let's do the same thing for this sample input that we were given of L's. So okay, let me just get cap locks on here. So it's just gonna be full on L's. So L, and that did not work. Hold on. L, 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 L. And yeah, there you go. As you can see, we're getting a -1. So that means that this solution does in fact work. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm actually going to take this solution. I'm using Vim, by the way. If you, I don't know when asked, but if you were wondering why it's kind of like blocky like this, it's just because I'm using Vim and I'm in my normal mode. And then I go into insert like this, and then I save like that. But yeah, anyways, let me go to GitHub here. In my personal account, that's in my school account. Just gonna create a new repository. I'm gonna call it CMC underscore, or like this, prep. Coding problems to get ready for CMC Waterloo contest. I'm gonna just create this repository. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is pretty bad, so we're just gonna let that happen. But yeah, this is it. Now what I'm wondering is, do I even need like a for I, like, cause like, could I just do like, I get like why I'm doing a for loop, but like, I don't know if that's how they structured the problem. Like, if I download the solution, let's see this. So this is J1. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, I think it's good. Yeah. I don't know about the like for I though. If that's correct or if that's like a proper way of doing it. But I'm gonna keep it. All I gotta do is I just have to wait for this to create, and it's not working for some reason, so let me try this again. CMC prep. Oh, so it worked, but it was weird. Anyways, let me go back in here. Okay, CMC prep, there we go. And here I'm just gonna create a file, and in this file I'm just gonna call it tournament selection.py, and then that's gonna have our solution in here, and let's go ahead and create that. So there you go. So now it's on GitHub for the masses to see. I'm gonna also add a readme, so why not? CMC prep, all my work that went into prepping for the Waterloo competition to hopefully gain admission into their engineering programs, any tech related. I don't think I wrote competition properly. Let me just fix that. Okay. Yeah, it was a pretty easy question. I'm not gonna hold you. Didn't take me too long to solve it. But yeah, that is problem J1 tournament selection. This was like a raw, uncut video. You know, I didn't really bother with anything, right? This is just me solving it, right? And you saw me do it firsthand over here.